Hello everyone, I'm the Weather Dude, welcome back, and I gotta say, this is the video I think you and I have been waiting for a long time. Yes, the nor'easter is coming to the northeast possibly, and we're going to talk about that in today's video, so stay tuned for the whole video and enjoy, because this is exciting. If you'd like staying up to date with the latest weather forecasts and updates, then please consider hitting the subscribe button below. Let's see how fast we can get to 2,000 subscribers. Also, to help this video's performance very much, please consider clicking the like button and sharing this video with your friends. Also, please consider watching the whole video. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. Yes, so this nor'easter will be coming through. Peak day will probably be Wednesday. There will be a little precursor storm that comes through Monday, not bringing as much snow, but to those northern areas like in central Pennsylvania, maybe southern New York, you guys could get some snow, but we will be talking about that one briefly, but really we're focusing on the Wednesday storm, the big nor'easter that's going to be coming, and I'm really excited to talk about this, and you know the Weather Dude loves snow, so to help the Weather Dude get as much snow as possible, if you hit that like button, right, 1%, the chance goes up 1%, so one like is 1% greater chance that I will see snow. So hopefully you guys help out with that. Anyway, we have the East Coast storm set up. So this is the Weather Channel's graphic here, and this is looking at Wednesday. I'll also be showing a lot of the models. Normally for these kind of videos, I show the oscillations first, but we want to cut to the good stuff, right? So we're actually going to save that one for later on in the video. So stay tuned for the whole video if you want to see that. And so here's the setup here. So we have the Canadian high. It's sitting well up to the north here. and what's that going to do is it's going to shove the cold air south. That's one thing. So, I mean, obviously we have to have the cold air in place to have the snow, but also it could force a little bit more offshore. And if that were to happen, you got your snow along the I-95 corridor, and maybe even if the low goes a bit far out enough, maybe even snow along the coastline. But I think unless the low tracks perfectly offshore, I think either way the coastline will not get as much as either I-95 or as much as inland areas. But I think that I'm not saying the coastline cannot get snow. I'm just saying it might be a bit less. Again, it all depends on the track. Still a lot of uncertainties out here. So what's it looking like for Wednesday outlook? This particularly Wednesday night. As you can see, the snow line is on the I-95 corridor. Boston is in the snow. New York is in the snow. I would say Philly is too, but DC is very, very close. All right, so Philly and DC are like right on the line basically, but I would say like extreme northern Delaware and Maryland, central and northern Jersey definitely in the snow. And that second shade of blue is the heavier snow, the steadier snow obviously. And that is our Wednesday night outlook. Of course, wintry mix will be a bit farther south, again closer to the coastline, and then even potential for some ice. All right, a little bit farther south for places like Virginia. But hopefully as of right now, we're not seeing too much ice. And it's more so wintry mix, which is honestly better than ice. And these snow totals, when I'm about to show you, the Weather Channel actually released their first snowfall totals outlook. Now, they don't tell you the exact snowfall totals. It'll just say lighter and heavier. But I've been looking at their maps for a long time, so I actually know which accumulation is associated with what color. So the very dark purple that you see from New York City down through just northwest of DC, actually that represents 12 to 18 inches of snow. I know, it's insane. It's like the first snow of the season. It's like this crazy. All right. I mean, even I'm blown away, honestly. All right. And then anywhere shade in the purple color is either looking at least 5 or 6 inches of snow. Basically from Roanoke to Washington to New York to Boston, anything above 5-6 inches, I would definitely put that as some kind of major snow event. And anywhere in that purple, you're definitely going to get a good fair share. Honestly, this isn't confirmed yet, of course. I mean, this is the first outlook from them. So now we're going to start to get into the models. So we are starting off here with the GFS model, and I do have to say they did kind of drop their toes a little bit. Like the last 5, 6, 7 model runs of the GFS have been, bringing in the snow, and this one has let down a little bit. But like I said, these models are going to keep changing, guys. And there's plenty of models that do indicate a lot of snow as well. Like I'm sure when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm sure GFS is going to be right back to where it was earlier today. Again, this is going to be another few days, but it's getting close enough, and I feel like time's like flying a little bit, and definitely this is something we definitely need to talk about. So as for the first storm, it's not going to be very much. And you can see mostly rain. Oops, sorry about that. Mostly rain for especially Mid-Atlantic points south. The best chance to snow with this little clipper system, I call it the first batch, would probably be best chance mountainous Appalachian Mountains, maybe through eastern Pennsylvania and to the north, maybe like Reading and Lancaster, Mount Pocono, maybe even southern New York. It'll be like a little precursor, right? A little first dose before the big dog comes in, but it could still dump a couple inches nonetheless, a few inches in some spots. But the beast is right here. So here's how the GFS has changed a little bit, especially for areas along that 95 quarter. You might not be happy with this one. All right, but again, like I said, I could wake up tomorrow and the GFS could be right back to normal again, like the way it was earlier. But you still got your very heavy snow, actually, for DC and Northern Virginia. You see the dark blues is your heavy snow, but the pinks, and especially, like the magentas, yes, but especially the light pinks as well. This is like snowfall rates of a couple inches plus per hour. And the dark blue is like, close to an inch an hour. All right, but yeah, it kind of gets a little iffy, doesn't it, right? We start to see more Maryland, Delaware, central southern Jersey kind of flip over to rain. All right, and that rain snow line gets moved a bit farther north. New York is still in the snow. I mean, even Philly is getting a little lucky enough. Although, like I said, like usually the global, I don't want to call it global warming, but it's usually warmer in the cities. So Philly might actually be in the rain, even though it might say snow because how warm the city is. But look at New York, though. I mean, you see these magentas and those brighter pinks right there. That's like whiteout conditions almost. All right, so GFS, yeah, they did slack off a little bit, but. And you see, look at the bright pinks for Nantucket right there. That's like a few inches of snow per hour, I'd say, almost. All right, and if we look at the snowfall totals here with our GFS model, I'm not too happy with it myself. Now, for inland areas, I mean, you guys are still good, right? I mean, you still got your 12 to 8, or is it 12 to, yeah, 12 to 24 inches of snow you still got right here. All right, now, actually, for coastal Massachusetts, they're calling for 40 inches of snow. Now, that's a bit insane, but you never know. And like Washington, D.C., for example, they're calling for about, GFS model says maybe 2 to 4 inches. I'd say Baltimore is similar. Philly, maybe still 4 to 8. But New York is like 20. Like you go up to New York and it's 20 inches. Boston, it's 2 feet. So I think, again, it all depends on the low track, honestly. That really does determine not only how much precipitation you're going to see, but what type of precipitation you're going to see. All right, next model is the Canadian model. Now, for those of you who live on the I-95, you can definitely be a lot happier with this model. That's the thing, though. These models have been so consistent, right? Like the GFS, this is the first time I started to see GFS slack off on the snowfall totals. With the Canadian model, the European model, the GFS model, and the mystery model I'm going to show you later. So always leave that model name in the comments. But all three of these models, like I said, Canadian, European, GFS, they have all been consistent past 5, 6, 7 model runs. They've been consistent on where the area of snow is going to be, who's going to see the most snow, and how much. So they've been pretty consistent, I have to say, and that's good. And like I said, first time the GFS has started slacking off a little bit. So Canadian, there's your first storm coming through, and then here comes the big dog. So I was actually looking at this earlier today, really diving deep into the models, looking at the temperatures, at the surface, the relative humidity. I mean, I was looking at temperatures like atmospheric temperatures like 5,000 feet, 2,000 feet, and just to see like how the layers line up. And it does look like a lot of snow, right? Like, especially if, a cold air at 2,000 feet, 5,000 feet, it really does help. Now, what confuses me a little bit, though, with the Canadian model, and you might see this with others as well, is how close they put the low pressure to the coastline. That's literally right on top of the Delmarva, yet somehow the I-95 corridor seems to get the brunt of the snow here. That magenta, basically from Philly to Baltimore, that's your really heavy snow. That's like really heavy, all right? So, but I don't understand how that is if the low can be so close to the coast. I mean, if there's enough cold air, then sure. I mean, if the high is really strong and enough cold air gets forced down there, then sure. I think it could definitely happen. But normally you want the low to be a bit off the coast for that to happen. To get that snow in that 95 quarter. But this could certainly happen if there's a bunch of cold air. All right, then the snow wraps up. Mid-Atlantic, I would say, especially like coastal Northeast, I'm sure Thursday morning you'll still be in the thick of it. Mid-Atlantic will be wrapping up for you on Thursday morning. Then by the time you go to bed on Thursday night, it will be gone entirely. Now, snowfall totals with this one, I say you're going to be a lot happier. All right, especially if you live on the I-95. If you live a little bit inland, you might not be so happy with this. So, city by city here, Boston, about a foot. New York, about 14 inches as well. Philly, about 10. You're a little bit to the east side, so maybe not quite as much, but it's still a lot of snow. I'll take it, okay? Great sledding conditions nonetheless. And great news is that it's going to be, now depending on which model it is, because if you look at the GFS and European, they're calling for temperatures to stick near freezing, but just below freezing, cold enough for it to stick on the roads and stuff. That is great packing snow, all right? So that's what you really want. Now, models like the Canadian, I've noticed they kept the temperatures a lot lower, so that's more that powdery, blowing, drifty snow. Also depends on the relative humidity, all right? So I'd say Baltimore, they're calling for about 17, actually 19 inches, and Washington, D.C., 16. So those are like your big I-95 cities. But also keep in mind, like places like Toms River still could get a few inches, even on the coast of New Jersey, right? But places like, Avalon, Cape May, and the Delaware beaches may not get so much. Same with like Chincoteague, Assateague, probably not going to get in on the snow according to this model. And I really don't think you're actually going to get on the snow. The best chance is a place like, Long Island, Nantucket, and maybe even the northern coast of New Jersey. All right, next model we're going through here is the European model. Now, European model, it was like I think it was yesterday, maybe actually 2 days ago, when they were always like slacking off on the totals, and ever since then, they have been consistent. Now, they, funny enough, actually called for a Monday storm to actually be a pretty big storm as well. All right, not very major, as you can see, like the snow in the mountains here kind of like disappears instantly, but that's Monday's storm. That is out of here, and then here comes the beast. So we're already starting off. Now, originally, a couple days ago, it was supposed to start late Tuesday night and go through basically late Wednesday night. Now we're talking about starting Wednesday, like midday, like around noon and early afternoon for places in the mid-Atlantic. So like in this region, shaded in black right here. For you guys, probably going to be starting 12 to 2 on Wednesday as of now and lasting through early Thursday morning. And for people up here in coastal New England, all right, like right in here, for you guys, I would say the snow does kind of start overnight. So by the time we wake up on Thursday, it's going to be snowing. It's going to be snowing hard. All right. But also, we're going to take a look at the gem model, actually. So let's actually go back. All right. So again, the snow starting out, light to moderate snow. The rain-snow line is actually south of the I-95 corridor, which is what we want to see. Because, trust me, we need snow. But there actually is some ice with this one, though, in Northern Virginia. So keep that in mind. There could still be some ice out of this. Although it doesn't look like it's going to be a whole lot. Then it does briefly flip over to mix maybe. All right, like for example, they put DC and actually in some rainfall. So when you look at the snow total map, like I'm about to show you soon, you might want to take off a little bit for DC because they don't count, like they don't factor into the rain. That if it changes the rain, they don't really factor that in. So keep that in mind. But the rain snow line is basically through central Jersey, through northern Delaware, through northern Maryland, and northern Virginia. That's basically where your rain snow line is, south of Long Island. But don't worry, because even if you do flip to wintry mix in these areas I just said, like we're back to the dark blues and the magentas on the back side of that low, right there, right on that north. You know how like when hurricanes, like the strongest stuff is on the northeastern quadrant? Well, in snowstorms, especially like a nor'easter, like we could see here, yeah, probably on the northwestern side, like the north and northwestern side. Whereas hurricanes, the strongest stuff is on the north and northeast side. Right? But notice this, though. 8 a.m. Thursday, you see the difference with the models, though. European and GFS said it was wrapping up in New England 8 a.m. Thursday. Maybe like some flurries left in the mid-Atlantic, but still some moderate snow in New England, and it was leaving. But 8 a.m. Thursday, according to the Canadian model, it is still heavy. It's still heavy snow from Long Island back to Philly. All right? So still heavy snow through Thursday morning, even though both models have it starting at around 2 o'clock. So that's something to keep in mind, and I think that's why also the Canadian has some slightly higher snow totals. I mean, Thursday afternoon is moving through coastal New England, and it's gone. So, snowfall totals with the Canadian model are a lot. All right, Long Island, about 18 inches. But notice Boston, though, it's only 4 inches. But New York, 17. Philly, 17. We got Wilmington close to 19. We got Baltimore at 15 inches. We got 15 inches for D.C., but again, actually, I would actually say closer to 13 for D.C. So kind of like 12 or 13 for DC, but again, maybe take off a couple inches because of the changeover to rain briefly. But guys, this is still a lot of snow. And the south central Pennsylvania and northern Maryland border, 25 inches of snow. Yeah, so that's more than 2 feet, in case you didn't know that. All right, last model, mystery model, put it in the comments, is the UK MET model. As you can see right here, that is our mystery model for today. Now, you might be wondering, why am I not showing you the NAM model? We're going to have to wait till Sunday/Monday for that. So tomorrow, the next day, because NAM only goes out 84 hours and the 3 km NAM only goes out 60 hours. So we're going to have to wait until we get closer to the storm's duration for that. So UKMET, again, does not have a preset map, so we can't see, but we can still see the snowfall totals. And what they're projecting is, again, 6 or 7 inches for Boston, but New York still 17 inches, Philly about 12, Baltimore I'd say about 6 to 10, DC it's probably 6. All right, and then you got your core of the snow basically from Philly to New York City is basically your core of the snow. So that's their projection. Personally, if you were to ask me which model do I agree with most right now, honestly, I would have to say, where is it? I would honestly have to say the European model, and not because it's typically your more accurate model. I just think it actually is a good depiction. GFS, I don't really agree with right now. Canadian, I feel like they go a bit much, especially for Pennsylvania and Maryland, but that's just my opinion. This could change, okay? So definitely stay tuned for updates. And again, just to kind of look over here, there's your high pressure staying to the north, bringing that cold air in, pushing that high off the coast. As you can see, the Canadian model says the same thing, right? Here's your high, bringing the cold air down, and could keep this low offshore. If it keeps it offshore enough, then hopefully we can get some more snow to those more coastal cities. Again, you can see, not going to spend too much time on the oscillations here, but you can see PNA actually is dropping, which is a bit odd, but still near the zero line. All right, but the NAO is staying negative, and so is the Arctic oscillation. And as for those wind gusts, yeah, we're talking winds passing 40, even close to 50 miles an hour. All right, and that is potential for blizzard conditions. All right, but also if we had to get the strongest winds inland a little bit, because that's where most of the snow will most likely be right now. All right, but there's still a lot of uncertainty with this. The exact totals, the exact track. This is more of a first outlook. This is saying, hey, I'm really excited for this. I'm actually projected 12 to 18 inches of snow, 10 to 16 inches right now. So hopefully, I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine with like 6 or 10, honestly, but 12 to 18 would sound great. So let me know how much snow you're projected to get so far in the comments based on the models you've seen. And hopefully we get a lot of snow. Hopefully you snow lovers out there, because especially in the east here, last year we got nothing. It was just cold a little bit. So I am definitely looking forward to this a lot. So let me know if you guys are too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm The Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time, I will catch you guys in the next video.